Thank you, Leopoldo, and thank you, CMP Coffee Shop. It's really great to be back. 2 years ago, I came here and I read with a friend, and we had a really good experience. And now I've come back and I have a book. So, thank you. I'm going to read some poems that are new material and then some poems from the book. So, I live in Portland, and I used to live in a high-rise apartment building where you smell things and you see things you don't necessarily want to see, like cooking and really things that you don't really want to see. Anyway, so I left my high-rise apartment, and this was my experience living in one. It's called The Man Next Door. The man next door vacuums in the nude. I can see him from our adjoining balconies, high above the street. The man next door pulls down the bed, lies against the wall, turns on the news, and jerks off. At least, I think that's what he's doing. It's hard to get anything done. On the kitchen table, my students' unmarked papers pile up. I haven't once thought of my ex-husband's new home in Chicago. I feel relieved I won't have to see him again. Last year at the airport, I stood at the gate waiting to board my plane when I thought I saw him holding hands on the movable walkway with his wife and his baby. So young and fresh, everything opposite of how I felt that year. Divorce is worse than death, my lawyer said when she handed me the papers to sign. Worse, she said with a little laugh, because he is still alive. In my closet, I looked for my black hoodie and dark sunglasses. To see him, I'd have to climb over the balcony, crank my neck, but now his lights are out, others too. Below, the street sounds are ocean waves crashing. I don't live in a high-rise apartment anymore. So the next couple poems I'm going to read about my family. When I was younger, I couldn't wait to get the hell away from my family. and I did. I went 3,000 miles away from them. But now I want to be with them as much as I can now that they're getting old. I have a great relationship with my dad. This is called Weekend Call to My Father. When my father can't lift his wife off the kitchen floor, he calls the fire department. They come so often to the house, he says on the phone. I buy them boxes of donuts. He coughs a few times, clears his throat, then blows his nose. I can picture him sitting on his cracked blue leather chair, newspapers strewn over the worn carpet. I used to watch my father talk to himself. His shoulders shrugged as he pulled his eyebrows, hands moved as he was shooing flies. In our musty garage, his punching bag hanging from the ceiling, I once stood next to him while he fixed his car. Hands covered in oil, he yelled out, "Screwdriver!" But when I gave him the wrong one, his bald head pulsated bright red. He asks, "Do you need any money?" He's pressing cherry tobacco in his pipe, cracking pine nuts with his teeth, his stocks rising and falling on the TV. I need to get off the phone. I haven't even had my first cup of coffee. But now he's the one who has to go. His wife's calling him from somewhere in the house, somewhere I hope he can get to in time. This next poem is about my mother. My mother was recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and for her 80th birthday I wanted to take her swimming, but she didn't have a bathing suit. So I took her to this kind of fancy bathing suit place in New York, in Portland. This is called Swimming in the Rain. With my hands on her still strong shoulders, I steer my mother to the discount rack, so she won't complain about the prices. The sales girl comes over wearing an Oregon Ducks t-shirt, her smartphone squeezed into the back pocket of her rhinestone jeans. Cracking her gum, she asks my mother in slow motion, "Can I help you?" My mother is slow as rain, a creaky, twisted bicycle chain. Back at the car, she lifts the black bathing suit and folds it neatly on her lap. I look like a fat seal in that thing, she says. And I tell her, and I'm a seagull crashing into the surf. It's been raining for hours, both of us swimming now in uncharted waters. This is about my grandmother, kind of a takeoff of my grandmother, and this won first prize in the Oregon Poetry Association contest. Don't bother the flowers. When Grandma told me to stop buying her flowers, I didn't know what to do with the daffodils I was holding in my hand. Should I throw them in the garbage disposal or put them in a vase? I started worrying about flowers withering, stalks drooping, shriveled leaves, and dried up petals falling to their death. Swiveling around the kitchen in the lime green padded chair, I noticed the striped yellow wallpaper matched the crocheted placemats, the napkin holders, the quilted toaster cover. I wasn't supposed to touch anything. Her notepads, grocery lists, paper clip coupons, the newspaper obituaries of people she didn't know, marked and highlighted with a red felt tip pen. Sunday mornings. Sunday mornings, my mother would drag the rugs out of our red brick house one by one, down the steps in front of the neighbors. She beats the rugs with her broom as if they are flesh-eating aliens. I want to scream, "Stop, no!" But all I can do is cover my face with my hands. I smell my breath, maple syrup, challah, sour milk. If only I had a stick of peppermint gum, everything would be a lot better. Aunt Sylvia's eyebrows. I wish I could tingle like a spin-the-bottle kiss, have 7 minutes of heaven in the closet with Charlie or Tim. Should I speak French when I French kiss them? I wish I had my sister's big boobs, her lime green string bikini, the blonde highlights she makes from squeezing lemons into her ash brown hair. For hours in the mirror, I watch her flip her fair faucet feathers with my banana yellow comb. If she'd tell me what she does with the boys in the cars, it would only be fair. Instead, I lie in bed and think about the red douche bag I found under Aunt Sylvia's sink. That time we stood at her bedroom window, watching a squirrel chase another squirrel up and down the trees, along the fence, even on the roof. "You know," she said, squeezing my wrist, "boys won't want you if you're easy." She looked at me then, her thin, penciled-in eyebrow arching. This is from my book. It's called Orange Crush. I saw my man put $1 in the soda machine to buy a Coke, but the Coke didn't come out. Instead, what came out was an Orange Crush. My man was banging that machine so hard with his fist, yelling, "God damn it, goddamn machine!" But when he got the Orange Crush, he drank it anyway. "Why?" I asked him. "'Cause it's here and I'm thirsty." "You get used to it. You get used to a lot of things, he said. I'll never get used to losing you, I told him. It's a little distracting there. Okay.
Better than a leaf blower.
Right.
What, you have a story about a leaf blower? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes the mic is useful to get over the din. The
Yeah.
coffee house.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to keep going. So I spent a lot of time looking at squirrels in my backyards. I don't know how you feel about squirrels, but they're pretty smart and they're really fun to watch. This poem is in the voice of a squirrel. Okay, it's called Gray-Haired Squirrel. Sometimes I can have the best intentions, but still not find what I left behind. Like when I can't find the nuts I buried in the summer. Each time it happens, I scold myself for not paying attention. What distracts me? My mind wanders too much in the grass. I worry about going home, telling my mate what has happened. Will she coop, coop, moop, growl, bark, or whine? Will she chase me up a tree and thump me on the back until I fall to the ground? Or worse yet, will she threaten to leave me for another younger squirrel with a better memory? Okay. All right. So I bought a house after that bad high-rise experience, apartment I was telling you, and I didn't know anything about a garden, so I did a lot of weeding. It's called weeding. Rocks crumble under my shoes, leaves crunch, dead grass crowds around me. At any moment, I might lose my ground. Braless in my t-shirt and jeans, I kick and whack, yank and snap. With the back of my hand, I wipe sweat off my neck. Weeding is like marriage. Push, pull, right, wrong, healthy, rotten. What you bother to take out strains the muscles and returns the next day. I listen to a crow on the streetwire tell me the strangeness of myself. I whisper the things I cannot change. At last, I chop the heads off yellow weeds and leave the rest to seed. So, this is what I'm going to read now. Is I call it my coming out poem because I had a really traumatic experience when I was living in Prague, the Czech Republic, and I was teaching English. I had this horribly traumatic experience. I didn't tell anybody about it, and I was encouraged to write about it, and I did, and it got published, and so now everybody knows about it, and so I'm out of the closet. That's my closet. So I'm going to share this with you now. I remember not sleeping. I remember lying on a squeaky cot in a room full of Czech women, listening to them breathe like lung machines. I remember steam hissing from radiators, heels clicking down halls. I remember on the psychiatric ward thinking that the patients were doctors who were there to save me because I was dying. A flashlight shone in my eyes every 2 hours during the night. A needle poked my arm. Someone always watched me in the shower with a flashlight. I remember waking up at night to use the bathroom and seeing Czech nurses watching porn on TV. I remember having sex with men, multiple men and women, but I don't remember feeling anything except sore. I was never tired and never hungry. I got a day pass from the hospital and snuck into a man's car. We smoked unfiltered Camels and listened to Metallica. I hated heavy music, but it felt good to be held. I remember the doctor asking me if I had been breastfed and what it meant to throw stones in glass houses. I was afraid if I didn't get the answers right, something bad would happen to me. One doctor said, sleep deprivation causes mania. My roommate swallowed a crushed light bulb. I remember the bitter taste of pills I hid under my tongue. I remember how good it was to come home, to stretch my legs across my bed, wrap myself in clean cotton sheets, and listen to the rain. Snow fell my last day in Prague before I got on the plane to the States. I wasn't sure I would come back, but I wasn't thinking about that. I'd have to be up for 20 more hours to get home. Thank you. I'm gonna end this on I guess one of my favorite poems. It's in my book, but I was an English teacher. I taught immigrants and refugees how to speak grammar correctly, blah, blah, blah. And this is what it turned into. This is called Grammar Lessons. When my students ask me how to use the future tense, I tell them we use will for a promise or a threat. I will always love you, for example. And to make a plan, we use the present continuous. I am divorcing him. And when they ask about the simple past, he loved me a long time ago. It's not that simple, I tell them. There's certainly nothing perfect about the present perfect. I have loved you since the day I met you. By definition, I ask them, does this mean he stopped loving me? But loving is a non-continuous verb. Loving, I tell them, is incorrect. And for the modals, though confused, I know I still have their interest. I may, I might, I should, I could, keep going, but I won't. Instead, I tell them love is full of tenses. Thank you.
Wow.